Yeah, Chelsea very much enjoying that last-minute goal. Right, Jamie O'Hara, the question is behind us. Is it time for Arne Slot to drop Mohamed Salah?
I think that's really harsh to say, dropping him already. His numbers over the years have been unbelievable. He always puts up numbers. He hasn't started great, that's a given, and, you want to see more from him. But to talk about dropping one of Liverpool's greatest ever players, I think it's incredibly harsh. There's been 7 games. He hasn't performed to the level that you expect him, but he's got so much credit in the bank. He makes things happen. There's a lot of other things, I think, at Liverpool where they haven't got Trent. Trent's not there to be giving him them balls down the side and getting him in and making him overlaps, to giving him the space to come inside. There's a lot of things I think is different with Liverpool this season. So he'll come good. He always does. His legs have not gone. That's a fact. When you start talking about a player, maybe his legs are gone, or is he on the way down? I don't think that's the case with Mohamed Salah yet. He hasn't started great, but he'll come good.
We've got a voice note from Latvia. Let's see what he's had to say.
As a Liverpool fan, I'm always going to love Mo Salah. At this current time, I think we should persist, but I feel like if there has not been a good performance within the first 60 minutes, then to definitely think about making a change, especially with AFCON happening later in the year.
Yes, AFCON is coming up December and January.
Yeah.
It's on. So I guess what Latvia say, Jamie, is they need to learn how to play without him anyway.
Well, they did that they've done that before, right? It's not like they haven't had this situation before with AFCON, and I think they've coped. And I think they've managed to play without him, but he's a massive part of the team. The problem is who comes in and plays there? He played Frimpong there the other day, and it was a disaster. It's just not. He's not what you want from, a Liverpool right winger. So I think that they've got an issue with Salah. If you are going to drop him, or you're going to leave him out and rest him, manage his minutes, who plays there at the same level? I don't think they've got that player.
Yeah, we're going to get to a Liverpool fan in a moment. AFCON, of course, Africa Cup of Nations, by the way. But his form has dipped, there's no doubt about it. You say his legs haven't gone, he's still playing in the same position. Is it purely down to he's not used to the player who's behind him?
Yeah, I think
that takes time.
I think it takes time. He's got a brand new player behind him. He started with Frimpong. He's got Szoboszlai there as well, who, for me, I think is wasted if you're playing him at a right back. But he's a different player. He's had years and years and years of having Trent there. He knows everything. As soon as Trent got his head up, he's on his bike, and he put him in constantly. Trent was one of the best assist players ever to play in the Premier League in terms of what he could do from his position. And Salah hasn't got that anymore. So, of course, his form's going to change. His runs are going to change. The way he plays is going to change, because Frimpong's a completely different player. I've noticed that, especially against Chelsea, Salah was getting the ball to feet a lot. I'm not used to seeing Salah get the ball to feet. I want to see Salah running in behind. A lot of teams we're seeing this season are playing a low block. They're sitting in. He's not got the space to get in behind. So, you've got to adapt.
There's a message there from Slot. He said Slot should drop Salah and try another player who can provide assist to Isak and Ekitike. But I bet your question there is yes, but who?
Yeah, I mean
there's no obvious.
Salah's an unbelievable assist maker as well, by the way. I mean, he's not just a goal scorer. Salah comes inside and he's got this lovely left foot where he flicks it into areas. And they scored so many goals like that last season with Salah doing that. So can't tell me Salah can't assist other players. He's a goal scorer, he's a finisher. But he produces so many big moments. And, I think you've got to find the player behind Salah. That's the problem. You've got to find the player behind Salah to get him in. Because they had Trent. And then Liverpool fans will hate to hear it. But without Trent, they're a different team. Because he set up players. He played, he was like their David Beckham. He would put balls in areas which were just unbelievable. But they haven't got that player anymore. And he was a right back. So now you've got to find the player who can put these strikers in, put these players in, from that position. I don't think they've got it. So you've got to adapt the way you play. You're hoping Florian Wirtz becomes that player for them, who makes things happen and he's the assist maker. But he hasn't done the job yet.
Well, Sky Sports are partnered with Finalysis, an app where passionate fans share their opinions on their club. You can represent your club as well. Here's how. Well, scan that QR code for a start, or you can visit the Sky Sports app for more details. Let's speak to someone who's done just that. Liverpool supporter Abigail Rudkin joins us. Good morning to you, Abigail. First of all, a blunt question. Do you think Salah should be dropped?
No, I don't, because the players around him aren't playing well enough either. At the end of the day, it's not like Mo is just having a terrible game after terrible game and everyone else around him's doing really well and we've got someone sat on the bench ready. Chiesa's not good enough to come in and play instead of Mo Salah. At the end of the day, Mo Salah is the only Premier League winner, Champions League winner that we've got as a forward there at the club right now that is good enough.
But Abigail, we have talked a lot, you've talked a lot, we all have, about how much depth Liverpool have after the summer transfer window that they've just had. So although, yes, everybody has said you're one short at centre-back, no one said you were short in the forward areas. So if a player isn't performing, how can anybody say there's no one to come in for Mo Salah?
No, and I think you're right, to be honest. I think you are right on that. But, you know, Isak come on and he gets, 4 touches and 2 passes and stuff like that against Galatasaray. There's so many bad performances there. The only one that's actually performing well is probably Ekitike. And then I think if you have Isak and Ekitike, it's detrimental to each other, to be honest. I think because one of them's always going to want to be... They want to be in the same place, basically. Cody Gakpo on the other side's not playing that well either. I think we're really missing Luis Diaz. I think that's a massive thing. Obviously, you can make an argument for Mo to say, listen, he's missing Trent Alexander-Arnold behind him. And he is. We're all missing Trent Alexander-Arnold, and I hate to admit that, but he's a once-in-a-lifetime player that we had at that club that was so creative. And Salah did dip at times last season when Trent was being injured.
There's a message from Ryan that says Salah isn't undroppable because of what he's done in the past. Let's not forget he ended last season very poorly as well. Did he end last season poorly as well?
Yeah, he did. He tends to start the seasons firing, and then towards the end of the season, he tends to drop off a little bit, to be honest. He's done that through the whole time that we've had him, to be honest. He doesn't end the season on a positive note. So I think there's a bit of a panic from the fan base now because he started this season where he left off the end of last season. But to be honest, I think there's a massive thing going on at the club at the minute that people are just overlooking, and I think that's the grief of all the players. I think, I've said it on social media quite a few times, and I've been knocked back and told, listen, these players should be still performing at a higher level, and I don't believe that.
They're
going
human.
to work.
They are
they're
human,
going to
definitely.
work every single day, and they're seeing where Jota used to be, and it's empty. They're going before the game, and his space in the changing rooms is empty. And at the end of the day as well, we're all singing on the 20th minute when they're on the pitch, and that reminds them of him. And if we stop doing that, they're still going to be thinking on the 20th minute, why are they not? So at the end of the day, we saw Mo Salah crying on the pitch at the end of the Bournemouth game, I think it was. These people are grieving and they're human, and I think it is society's lacking empathy right now for these players to understand why they're performing badly. And listen, I'm not saying that's completely the reason why Mo's not performing well. I'm not saying that's what it is. I think there's too many new players around him. I think it's going to take a while for him to adapt. But at the end of the day, he's not going to perform any better with these new players in a new formation, all that sort of stuff, trying out new things with Arne Slot from the bench. He's tried and proven. At the end of the day, you've got to play him. He's got to work in this.
Abby, what have you made of Konate this season? Because I'm watching. I love Konate. I think he's been brilliant with Van Dijk. This season, it's been a strange start to the season for him. He's all over the place.
Yeah, it's been absolutely shocking from what we've seen. He's making Van Dijk sweat, and I haven't seen Van Dijk have to sweat for his whole time at Liverpool Football Club. It's not good enough. It's rash decisions. It's not good enough, and it just makes me more frustrated that the club didn't go and try and get Mark Gahey earlier on in the window. I don't know why we didn't. I don't know if those discussions were already happening earlier on in the window, and it's just took to the last day for us to try and do it. And we got everything we had to put through, and obviously Palace didn't want to give him up in the end. But it's just really frustrating, and it's just making me think in that January window, you've got to go and do it, especially with the young lad Leone getting injured. You can't. I don't think we can bring Joe Gomez in now because he's so injury prone as well. It only takes, honestly, he's so injury prone, and it's just not worth taking the risk on him to just bring him in.
Is there an argument to say
that?
Is there an argument to say that you didn't need Isak, you needed Mark Gahey more?
Yeah, no, I think that's spot on. I said that on social media. I said I think the most important one to get over the line today, this was the last day of the transfer window, was Mark Gahey, because we were struggling. And And now look, it's proven to be right. And I'm not saying I've lost all faith in Canate, but we've seen this last season with Trent Alexander-Arnold. His form dipped. To the moment your head's turned by another club, you're in the last season of your contract. You can just see that in him. And I don't know if that's just because you lose your fight, you know, in this sort of game because he's looking towards what he's got next, what he's got to look forward to at Real Madrid.
Yeah, well, your
If
next
he goes there.
after this international break, of course, it is Manchester United at home. Something to look forward to. Abigail, thank you.
Thanks.